I tried using a GoPro with a gimbal and I'm not very good at it, so I'm just going back to my phone. One thing I just remembered is thinking back to when I did the Cresta. There's all sorts of things, like if you already know how to do some of this stuff or you're pretty experienced at it, you'll often sort of forget that there's some guys that you can order parts from Subaru. You know, if something's buggered, you can look up the service manual and find the part number and order it. The old car gearbox was leaking from the front main seal. So it's a bit of a job, but I just looked up the part numbers and I bought the seal and the gaskets all required. And it's a pain in the ass because you've got to split the gearbox in half because it comes in as two pieces. But yeah, I was able to order all the seals that I needed to do it and the gaskets. And I think it was like $112 or something. I know a guy who owns a gearbox shop and that would have been a $900 job. Yeah, it's handy if you can figure out how to do stuff yourself. It's frustrating when you can't find the right information or people give you the wrong information. The thing that made me think about the sort of the genuine parts from Subaru, etc., was I've still got a couple of things to finish on the JZX, and I didn't have one of these boots. It originally came in one of these bags with the Toyota part number on it. But even little things like that's a little plastic bushing that I need for my clutch pedal. That's a bushing for either the clutch pedal or the brake pedal. And I didn't have a manual brake pedal, so I just ordered one. Found out what the part number was, looked at the exploded diagram, and just ordered it. I don't like my blow-off valve, so it's one of these, but a newer one on the JZX. So I'm just going to cut out a block-off plate. White car number 2 in the background, and about 6 million bikes. There's been a bit of a spanner in the works. My little bit of a secret. That was supposed to arrive. By yesterday. So I'll just explain what's going on. So the original car is a 95. I then bought that other white shell that you can see, which is a 99 2000. Basically, I thought, well, the 99 2000, the engine's better, or at least, you know, the heads are better. So rather than try and put the old 95 engine into that 99 2000 shell, what people do is they buy an STi bottom end called a 207 short block, and they bolt their existing heads from their 99 2000 onto the STi short block, and that way you get a super strong bottom end. You got the better heads, and etc. etc. So I priced it up. A short block just to buy it is about $3,250, so 3,250 Australian dollars was the cheapest I could find it. Some guys had mentioned that in the industry or trade price, it's in fact $2,600. So don't know whether I could wrangle trade price from Subaru, but I might try and find somebody I know who can maybe get me one at that price, but I'm not actually going to do that. So basically, first idea I had was, okay, let's just sell off that crashed car in bits and pieces, and that way, with the money for that, we can buy a 207 short block. The 99 2000 car already has an aftermarket ECU in it. It's got an Autronic, so we could build the engine in that, which is called an ej207. We could build that engine up,
spray paint the car and Bob's your uncle. Have a new car back on the road. Now, the thing is, I priced it up. So a short block 3250, then with all the gaskets, oil pump, everything like that, it was going to be about $5,000, which, you know, that particular car only cost me $1,500. So add some paint and you'd probably be at about 10 grand and it'd be all done. My main concern was that I actually left out the footage from the last video of starting that engine, and it makes a real loud, what you could describe as a clacking sound. So I'm yet to find out whether it's a big end bearing, or the gentleman who I bought the car off said his mechanic had said that it had a loose gudgeon pin. So I started looking around and I found the surprise, and the surprise is I found a 97, 98 complete car with an STi 207 short block, but it had version 3, so 1997, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. STi heads on an STi block with STi ECU, airflow meter, all that kind of stuff. And it was a kid who had it, and he said that there was an electrical issue and they just couldn't get it to start for some reason. So originally I thought, well, I'll just buy that car, dismantle it, and use the STi short block. But then I got to thinking more and more, and looking at the shell that the car's in. It's got nice paint. So I would save $2.5 grand there by not having to paint a car. And yeah, provided it's everything that he says it is, it would be a solid little car. So it got me to thinking, well, what am I going to do with the old 95 engine and the 99 2000? Now I can put that gear into that newer shell. We just have to transfer all the wiring over, and the dash, and at least the front door cards, etc., etc. And then I realized that my stepson is about to get his learners, and he'll need a first car. And he's shown a bit of interest in wanting to get into sort of building a car. And I thought, you know what? After having all the trouble trying to sell bits and pieces to people and people wasting my time, I thought, you know what? I'll just give it to him. Now, in the meantime, a guy has since put a deposit on the engine, but basically the only thing wrong with his engine is it blew a head gasket. Now, I said to him, tell you what, you can have my engine for a price if you give me your old engine. And so basically I'm going to take his old engine, put some head gaskets in it, and that can be Oliver's engine to build up the white car. So that's the plan anyway. Nothing ever goes to plan with cars, and so, you know, it might all just be wishful thinking, but that was the idea. None of it, like they say that all this stuff, it's like Lego. None of this is compatible with each other. I can't put the STi engine, like with the STi heads. I can't even mix and match the 99 2000 manifold with the engine, the STi engine from the 97 car. So, like, it is possible. Nothing's impossible, but it's just cost and or lots and lots of work. So should I choose to use the 99 2000 white shell, and I want to put the 97 STi engine in there, I would need to merge the wiring harness of the 97 with the 99 2000, and it's, I don't know, it's just, or the other thing is I just take the whole harness and everything from the 97 car and put it in the 99 2000. I mean, I'll show all this when we're sort of pulling cars apart and that kind of thing. But yeah, these are the things that you learn about when you want to reshell a Subaru. Oh yeah, also thanks to everybody who's started following on Instagram and subscribing, etc. If there's anything that I say that's wrong, please correct me. Whether you DM or you leave a comment or something like that. And also, I don't know what I'm doing, so if you can offer some assistance as well, again, feel free to inbox me or leave a comment or something like that. I am on Facebook, etc. So if you find me there, please feel free to DM me. Plenty of guys have actually messaged me regarding the GC8 stuff and have said about how much of a massive help it's been. I mean, I guess the hardest thing about this is I don't really know I don't know what I'm doing, and also I don't know what the end result is going to be. So we'll have we've got 2.9 cars, like 3.75 engines or something like that, and a whole bunch of stuff. And yeah, hopefully we can make at least one or two pretty cool little cars. This is the current state of the 95. Hang on, I'll just jump in the neighbour's yard. There we go. We've got it up on jack stands. A guy has bought the tail shaft. Hopefully we don't need that, so that's gone. And a deposit's been paid on the engine. So we will pass this one on and receive an engine with a blown head gasket, and then hopefully we can just put a head gasket in that and replace it. So the plan of attack next is to probably take the intercooler kit off. So I'll show you what it looks like. This was the biggest thing, or this is the biggest thing that I found with the GC8 is when you're watching a video, you can actually see what things look like and how they fit and how other people have done stuff. So yeah, we'll take off the intercooler kit. What else would we do? Oh yeah, remove the rest of the exhaust. Radiator. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out anyway. But yeah, you just kind of start like that. Take your intercooler off, take your exhaust off. Anything that's in the way, like this cooler bottle, that kind of thing. And then, yeah, kind of label things as well. That's also a good idea. But that's where we are right now. I should probably also explain, guys. See how I've put the jack stands there under the radiator support? Don't do that. The only reason I'm doing that is because I'm wrecking the car, like it's going to the dump or to be turned into scrap metal. Ideally, you would put them here under the sort of the factory location, or you find a solid spot underneath the front of the car where the engine is. Because right now, with a jack stand there and jack stand there, it puts a lot of pressure on the car just here. Now, I had to do it with the GC8 because I didn't have, because I was lazy really. And I didn't really have a lot of options as well. It's kind of tricky to find spots to put a jack under the GC8. But when it had jack stands up at the front, the door was flexed so much
that the door wouldn't close properly, like the chassis flexes. I mean, right now, you probably don't think it, but this car would be flexed like that. And in fact, if you have a look, I mean, this has been in the crash, but see the door jam there? That's probably more so from the crash, actually, because this whole car is bent this way. Plenty of idiots have seen the ad for the car, like wrecking the car, and have been like, oh, how much for the shell, bro? Dude, the thing's bent. It's fucked. It's had the rear of it smashed in it. What are you, nuts? But anyway, we sold a door. We sold a tail shaft. Seats. The seats were the first thing to go. But like I said before, until Oliver decides if he does or doesn't want to sort of reshell this into that 99 2000 shell, we're going to keep all the stuff for a conversion. So what he would do is he would strip that car in there and put all the wiring, the dash, the aircon, everything from this car into that car there, and he'd basically have himself a 95 WRX. Now, why didn't I do that? Well, I mean, I could have, but I wanted a bit of an upgrade over just because, I mean, I would have just kept that car standard, whereas with a 207 bottom end, you can run a bit more boost, and you're not fearful that the car's going to shit itself. So like I was saying before, just got to look at it to remove the engine, what you're going to do first. So normally when the car is driving, I would drive it down to the air conditioning shop and have him evacuate the air conditioning gas. I don't really have that luxury, and it's illegal to let the refrigeration gas out into the atmosphere. So I'll probably have somebody come round and pull it out. Yeah, I'm gonna drop the oil, empty the radiator of liquid, and one thing to think about is maybe you should do that in advance, particularly dropping the coolant out of it, because quite often a bit ends up on the ground, and if you've got to crawl under the car to sort of disconnect tail shafts and undo gearbox bolts and all that kind of thing, I would probably a day in advance drop the coolant out of it. That way I'm not having to crawl through wet concrete or whatever to try and undo other bits and pieces.
On that spot?
Yeah, that's great. Ta-da! Surprise! Better give Brad a hand. Ta-da! Surprise. So this car is 1997. Very rough. Need to sort that out. Shit wheels. Somebody's giving it a bit of a touch up. So it's not too bad. It's reasonably straight. There's no massive dents in it. There's sort of a little one down there and up at the back and stuff. But why the heck did you buy this when you've already got two others? There's the interior with what looks like GS8 black seats. Ta-da! Version 3 STi engine with, doesn't look that new anymore, but a brand new 207 short block. So, bit of a story. The plan was to sell off this guy and to buy a 207 bottom end for this. It looks like the plan is going to be, I'm going to rectify that blue car. Oliver's either going to take this engine and chuck everything in here, or we're going to sort out a bottom end for this engine, and this will be my stepson Oliver's car. So basically, slowly but surely, we might be building two cars. It is quite rough. It does need a bit of tidying. I think the story is that somebody bought it. They spent all the money putting the 207 short block in it, and then couldn't get it sorted out, and got sick of it, so they sold it. I feel like that's what the story is. But yeah, we're going to bring it back to life. So what it's got is it's a version 3 STi engine that a gentleman put in about 2015, and then I guess somewhere along the line somebody's blown that up. The battery's disconnected, so somebody's gone and blown that up. And oh shit, this car doesn't have airbags. Phew, ripper. All right, I was kind of annoyed because I thought this would have airbags, but it doesn't. Anyway, oh, there's the grill. Shit, yeah, I thought I was gonna have to find a grill. Man, this car's almost complete. I might go put the grill on. Let's put the grill on. There's a front mount intercooler and a bit of airbox. That's what it looks like inside. So, I mean, it's not too bad. I don't know. It's interesting to try and sort of figure out what's happened in the life of these cars. Did the guy who got the 207 bottom end get it all put in and then the car not run? Or, you know, what's the go? Why? What happens with these things? I don't know. But anyway, let's see if we can put the grill on. I'd really like to get it up in the driveway and give it a good clean, but we've got to get rid of old Crashy McCrash. So there's the engine bay on this one. See the coil packs in the middle? The white car, the coil pack's over on this side. You can see here, I don't know whether you can, but it is a genuine STi. It's still got the red paint on it. The turbo, I don't know how well you can see that, but it's a VF23 turbo. Let's have a look at the exhaust. Yeah, the exhaust looks okay. So there we go. Basic rundown is version 3 STi heads, version 3 STi ECU as far as I know, 207 short block, which I think is an 04. I don't know, what's an 04? A blob eye STi bottom end, which I'll search the specs later, but I think it's semi-forged pistons or forged pistons, stronger crank, stronger rods. So it's got four pot front brakes. Hang on, we'll get closer. So it's got 4-pot front brakes, horrible wheels, 2-pot rear brakes, quite nice seats, really bad paint. I'll have to sort that out. No spark, and it seems like it's leaking coolant from the tank at the top. It's had a new radiator fitted. The concern is that, I'll see if I can flash up the original ad. The original ad says, just needs the radiator put back in. I'm reading this from memory, by the way. Just needs the radiator put back in. Some shit, X amount of dollars, off you go. So the guy I bought it off reckons that he couldn't get any spark. It was at a mechanics and they couldn't get any spark. Now, from what I understand, there's mechanics and then there's mechanics. Mechanics aren't auto electricians. So, I don't know. We'll have to find out. Got to get rid of this thing first. Get that out of the driveway. Then I can bring that poor blue thing up, give it a wash, give it a clean out. It will need painting eventually. But yeah, the first thing we need to do is solve where the coolant's leaking from. I think it's just the top tank, to be honest. So that blue car actually shares more in parts in common with this one here, this 99 2000. What I'm absolutely stoked about is that 97 doesn't have airbags, which I get having airbags for safety, but when the crash happened, if there was an airbag, my face would be fucked. It wasn't, luckily. So, I was smashed really, really hard from the rear. I got pretty bad whiplash, but, I didn't get a broken nose. So the car, unlike this one, does not have an airbag. Over there's got an airbag, whereas the blue car's got a compartment, and it doesn't have an airbag steering wheel. So that means I can just run any steering wheel I want, I think. Maybe it did have an airbag steering wheel and it's been deleted. The 95 car's got airbag stuff, which is weird. And some of the guys on the internet have said that 95 cars didn't come with airbags. So maybe that's just a bit of misinformation, who knows. If that little tank is leaking, we've got a spare right here. So yeah, and then there's also like some weird electrical stuff up around here. What I'm thinking of doing is, or what I probably will do, in fact, is just buy a WRX Link 3.4. So there's 3 versions of WRX Link or Link plug-in ECUs for GC8s. One is for 93 to 95. One is for 97, 98, and then one is for 99, 2000. I should probably try and explain the versions. So people seem to, there's 2 ways of talking about them. The year of manufacture, which is what I just explained, and then the versions. So version 1.2 is 93 to 95. It might be 93 to 96 actually. I'm not sure. But then 97, 98, they call a version 3.4 or version 3, version 4. So version 3 being 97, version 4 being a 98. And then version 5 is a 1999 and version 6 is a year 2000. So technically this is a 99, so a version 5. Blue car is a 97, so a version 3, and it has a 97 STi engine, so a version 3 STi engine, and then the 95 would be a version 2, but it has a 93 engine, so it would have a version 1 engine in a version 2 shell. A little bit confusing. I just prefer to talk about the year of manufacture, but I don't know, that's how the WRX people seem to do it. There's the bikes. So, have I covered everything? I think that's it. Okay. So, as still the plan of attack right now, or the focus is getting rid of that crashed 95 shell and stripping off everything useful, and then we'll tow the blue car up into the driveway. We'll give it a good clean, and then we will assess and come up with a plan. So a couple of guys have asked me about how I went about doing the Cresta, and I sort of explained it before, but you write things down. So you sort of come up with a plan and you budget for things. So say I was going to look at getting an ECU and then paint. All right, so the ECU, I've seen them for about $1,300. I would then also allow for about $500 worth of extra sensors and that kind of thing. That's if I was going to do it myself. And then I'd also probably budget, I don't know, I mean, you've then got to tune, etc., etc. So I'd probably, I don't know, I'd have to sit down and work it out. Same with the paint. If they give you a quote of $2,500 to give it a respray, I'd make sure you had an extra $500 spare, just in case they come up, you know, something comes up and they go, oh look, we can't use this door, or hey, there's a ton of bog here, we've got to do blah, or something like that. So always have a little bit more than your budget, and you know, and this is for guys who are inexperienced. Just don't, you know, if it's your last dollar that you've got, don't just go and spend it on a paint job, you know. Make sure you've got the money for a paint job and some money spare. Okay, I mean, so some guys and, you know, older dudes and that kind of thing, obviously, it's common sense, but there are younger dudes out there that don't know any better. So bear that in mind sometimes. Everybody started somewhere, and I think everybody can learn something from somebody else. So there we go. I'm going to go edit this video. See you in the next one.